Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be ranking all the scientists in Garden Warfare 2, since this was the most requested character for me to rank next on my last ranking video. As always, please let me know which plant you guys would like me to rank for the next video, because I like alternating between the plants and the zombies. And if not yet, please like and subscribe, as we're very close to 19,000 subscribers, which is very exciting. So yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Let's talk a little bit about the scientist class. They have a great ability set. Their warp lets them get in and out, and even has some vertical uses if you know how to use it properly. You could go onto rooftops and camp with him with certain variants. Camping with this character is really good. Having the heal station and being able to get back health, and the heal bomb, get back health, is really good. So I think the optimal is to use the heal station, warp, and the heal bomb. But other than that, this class is really good. They're a little fragile. They don't have the most health in the world, but they definitely can get the job done and definitely are a really powerful class in the game. So we're going to be ranking them all today, starting off with the Marine Biologist. Now this tier list might change a little bit as it goes on, but for now, I'm going to put Marine Biologist in the A tier. I think the B tier is the lowest because all these characters are fantastic and none of them are bad, but there's definitely ones that are better than others. The Marine Biologist has a really fast rate of fire, and he has over 100 DPS, which is really good. He does have a slightly longer reload than most of the scientists, and he doesn't have the most ammo in the world, but you could quickly get in and get out of scenarios, and he's really good at managing groups and just killing people really quickly. If you want to play a close range character, this is the one for you. He also does have a bit of range. He barely does any damage. Out of all the scientists that do work at range, he's probably the worst one at range, but he could still get the job done and chip away at people. If someone's low, you could kind of kill them sometimes, but he's really a close range character. But he does have a little benefit of having the faster fire rate and the fast kill times, but manage your ammo properly with him. But he's definitely an A tier character, and he could 3-shot majority of the cast. Alright, the next character I want to rank is the regular base variant of Scientist. He's going to go right into the A tier. Unlike the Marine Biologist, he has a very slow rate of fire, which is about the same as camo cactuses, so he shoots very, very slow. He does do a lot of damage per shot, which is 77 damage per shot. I do recommend using the damage upgrade on him because you could 2-shot corns. It's really nice to be able to do that. He's a great counter to a lot of the characters because you can kill them really quickly, as well as being better at range than the Marine Biologist. He hits 20 damage at range, but he does have a slow rate of fire, but he still can chip away at people at range, and if someone tries to jump away on a roof, you could still finish them off, which unfortunately the Marine Biologist cannot really do because of his low damage at range. So this character has great kill times up close, he's pretty decent at range, and overall he's a very great character, definitely an A tier. You could do a trick with him with sticky balls to fire faster. I know someone is going to want me to talk about that. My thoughts on it, it's cool, it could be useful sometimes, but I prefer using the mega heal bomb because you could do tricks with it where you could fly across the map, and if you know how to use it properly, you could really use it as a movement tool as well as be able to heal. So I think that's much better than the sticky balls. Alright, the next character I want to talk about is the Archaeologist, who I'm also going to be putting in the A tier. Now, this character has a really bad rep for whatever reason, and I don't know why. People just say he's not very good, but they don't really explain why they don't think he's very good. Archaeologist is pretty similar to the Reg Scientist, except he has a faster rate of fire, and this character is actually very decent at range. You could play him up close. He does extra damage up close with the shotgun explosion, but he also is great at range with his fast rate of fire and high damage and a big ammo clip. He also has a great reload ammo size, so he's pretty much the jack of all trades of a scientist. He's great up close, he's great from range, he's a great pick. He really is a good character, and he's very consistent. In some ways, he's more consistent than both Reg Scientist and Marine Biologist because he works at range. Now, he does have a lower damage output than these two characters, but arguably sometimes I do think he's better than the regular scientist. I know a lot of people seriously give this character a try. If you play him properly, he does a ton of damage. and he's a really good pick. He's definitely not a bad character at all. Also, being able to heal yourself from range is why he's good. He's pretty much a nerfed version of the Astronaut, which I guess we will talk about next. The Astronaut is everything good about the Archaeologist, but just better. The Astronaut is full auto. He doesn't have that extra shotgun damage up close, but this character still does the same amount of damage output as the Reg Scientist up close. That's how good this character is up close, so don't feel mistaken when people say this character isn't good up close. He is good up close. In fact, he does more damage up close, but from range, he's comparable to a soldier. He has really good accuracy. He has up to 22 ammo, I think 24 with the ammo upgrade. He has a great reload. I don't even run reload upgrade on him. I use health, damage, and ammo. But you could play him at all ranges. He's really good just to corner glitch with. You could heal in the back of the map and you're unkillable. He's immune to fire, so you just put them in the heal station. You just camp and he has no bad matchups. He's just a really good character. He's the best zombie in the game in my opinion. I think he's really good. So nothing else really to say. He's just really consistent. He has good abilities. He has a really good primary, and he's just a great character. He's flawless. He's broken. He's broken. He's a broken character. Alright, next character I want to talk about is the Physicist. Physicist, I think, is actually better than the regular Scientist. And the reason I think that is because he has a faster rate of fire. He does do less damage than the regular Scientist, but he has a faster rate of fire, which means he's better at range, along with doing chain damage from range, which is surprisingly really useful in stuff like 2v2s. You could shoot at the heal flower or whatever. Very, very useful with this character, the chain damage. It's only like 15, but at range it adds up. But up close the chain damage really isn't much, but he still does a ton of damage up close. He has a great rate of fire compared to the regular Scientist, and in my opinion he's kind of just an upgrade to the Reg Scientist. This character is really good, but if you want to put the Reg Scientist above him because he has faster kill times, that's okay, but I think the Physicist is better because he's more versatile. So yeah, I think the Physicist is better than the regular Scientist. Next thing we're going to be ranking is the Computer Scientist. The Computer Scientist I'm going to put right here in the A tier. The Computer Scientist is very similar to the Marine Biologist with his damage output doing around 50 a shot, but the Computer Scientist doesn't have as fast as a rate of fire, but he is better at range than Computer Scientist, along with having a basically instantaneous reload. So he reloads really quickly, and then he has meter as well. The meter isn't that useful, like it's good, but I think even outside of the meter, he's just a really solid character with his reload having like little to no time. Don't run the reload upgrade on him, by the way. It's borderline useless. It changed it from like 1.02 seconds to like 0.9 seconds. It's horrible. Don't use it. Use the ammo upgrade, speed, and health. He doesn't have a damage upgrade. But that's the best upgrade set for him. But he's a great character. I enjoy playing him, and he's very consistent. And you know he doesn't have to reload ever. So I think that's just what makes him better than the Marine Biologist. The Marine Biologist would be, if he had the Computer Scientist reload, he would be better in my opinion. But the Computer Scientist reload is what puts him up here. All right, let's talk about the Chemist next. A lot of people are probably waiting about my thoughts on this character. Chemist is going to be in the B tier. A lot of people really like this character, and I know he's very popular because of his low skill ceiling. The Chemist doesn't have any range at all. Like he's a point blank character only. He does. Let's talk about his pros. He has great group control up close. He has the best group control out of all the scientists easily. Very, very good group control. He could shoot a bunch of people at once. He has a huge radius of his spray, and he has a lot of ammo actually, but he does have kind of a slow rate of fire and a lackluster damage output. But he can cook a little bit. He is still a great character, like, which is why he's B tier. But I think compared to the other scientists, losing out on that range, you could just run away from him, and like he's useless. He can't do anything. Not that all these other scientists are like not useless at range, but like if there's a lobby just full of cacti not approaching, this character is awful and useless. And he's just the worst pick out of all the scientists in my opinion, just because of his damage. But he does have a few good niches with his crowd control. But other than that, I think he's just decent. He's still a good character, but I gotta put him at the bottom. I'm also going to put the Zoologist right next to him. you could kind of just switch these, whichever one you prefer. The zoologist he's kind of like the marine biologist but worse. I really don't see the reason to use him over the marine biologist. He has no range, and he does have a nice rate of fire, and he does a lot of damage. He does more damage than the chemist, but I do think the character is really held back because he's only playable up close. I always had this cool idea where you zoom in with the zoologist, it shoots out like a spike, like the cactus. I want to make a mod of that or something, but that was always my idea for the zoologist. Let me know in the comments if you guys like that idea. I always thought that was cool. But this was my main as a kid. This was my favorite character as a kid. I love him. I have an action figure of him too. But yeah, the character just kind of is missing out on a lot of things that these other scientists can do, where this one can kind of only play up close and just can get easily countered by a lot of characters. Let's talk about Dr. Toxic next. Dr. Toxic, I think I'm going to put right here. Dr. Toxic is surprisingly similar to the regular scientist, and is kind of an underrated pick, same with the archaeologist. The Dr. Toxic has a fast rate of fire compared to the reg scientist, but he does do less damage per shot. So he goes 45, 45, 45, 45, and he only has 6 ammo. But he does have a nice rate of fire and the toxic damage from range, so you could use it to chip at people. He's definitely better at range than all of these scientists, except for maybe the archaeologist. So he's pretty good at range, surprisingly. So he's good for if you're pocketing a friend for damage control. He's actually surprisingly useful for that. And up close, this is one of the few characters that actually benefits a bunch from the toxic aura effect, where you go up close, it just has that little extra damage that could actually be beneficial, like killing someone. But yeah, he's a good character. He does have a couple problems with his low ammo and his kind of slow reload, but he's certainly not a bad character. I think maybe the archaeologist is better, but again, like these A tiers, you could kind of just flip. It's kind of just scenario based. I'm not gonna lie. Scenario. I didn't spell that right. Based on events. My keyboard is broken. I'm sorry. And then the final character is the Paleontologist. The Paleontologist is everything about the Dr. Toxic, but better. He has over double his ammo size. He has, I think his reload's about the same. He has fire damage, which is just better than toxic damage. He has splash, so he's better at range. Fire damage isn't affected by drop-off, by the way, so he's very similar to the Astronaut. He's great up close still. And he just has so much ammo and like so flexible with his upgrades. He's really good. This character is insane. You could camp in the back with him. You could be really obnoxious with him. He's a great counter. If you hate fire characters, you could just use this character right back at them and put down your heal station. And they can't set you on fire, but you could set everyone else on fire. If you get in a good spot with this character, you could just camp. And it's so annoying, but I can't lie, it could be fun to do sometimes, but fighting against this character is infuriating. But this character is really, really good. He's definitely S tier. Arguably, I almost even put him on my top 10 zombies list. I might even have him on there in certain scenarios. He's just so consistent and good, and just like the Astronaut. He has great accuracy, and the splash is actually really useful on this character. He's also a great pocketing character. He's the best zombie pocket character in the game. He could heal you, he could damage control, and he's good at all ranges. And he could still sustain himself up close, along with sustaining his health with his abilities. So he's a great character. I'm going to put the Paleontologist in the S tier. Let's take a look at this tier list. So the A tier, I'm going to change this. Instead of based on events, I'm going to say unordered. And this one is limited by range. So this tier list, like marine biologists can be better than all of them in certain scenarios. Reg scientists can be better than all of them in certain scenarios. Archaeologists can be better than all of them, like at range. Dr. Toxic can be better at range. Like it's really like, where are you? What character are you fighting? What scenario are you in? Like that's how I'll order the A tiers. Like there's not really a proper way to order these, because these characters are all really similar and they all have strengths and weaknesses, which I think is really cool. I think they did a great job making all these characters different, aside from maybe Dr. Toxic, because Paleontologist outclassed him. But anyway, all these other A tiers, really, really cool design, and they all have a unique playstyle that are all fun. I poured a lot of hours. I used to main the scientist class, but I kind of moved on because I got mad because they just don't have a lot of range and they're not versatile, aside from the astronaut and paleontologist. And then the little guys at the bottom, the zoologist and the chemist, they have short range, but they still can get the job done up close, and they're great up close characters, but they are very limited by that, similar to the chomper class. But they can get in and they can cause some damage up close, but they are just very limited characters in the game. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the scientist. Very, very strong and powerful class, and let me know in the comments again which plant you guys would like me to rank next. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care and have a good one. Bye.